Hey everybody, it's Brett from Moonstream with an urgent market warning. I want to unpack some of the signals that I'm seeing right now. We just finished our Retire Rich class and I want to share some of the important signs that I see in the Bitcoin market. We're going to look at the Bitcoin monthly chart, the Bitcoin MACD, which is flashing warning signs like I saw in 2021 in November when I called the last market top. So we do have some very important bearish potential signals setting up, but I'm also going to show you where we could see a bounce on Bitcoin and the total market cap. So let's go ahead and dive in. In this chart of Bitcoin, this is the monthly chart, and so we can see that the price has rejected and rolled over a bit on this upper range. Time-wise, I don't have that study pulled up, but time-wise, based on the last all-time high to all-time highs, we should have peaked in October or potentially December. So did we hit an all-time high? Let's take a look here. The signal I'm going to jump straight to is this monthly MACD. I don't use MACD a lot. We usually use our own signals, but on the monthly time frame, it's been very accurate. So last cycle, right about here in November of 21, when the blue line peaked and started rolling over, I was calling to get into cash. And then when the blue line crossed the red line in January of 22, you can see that on the bottom of the screen down here, that's when I was pounding the table to get into cash and get out of those markets. And that was when the bear market started. So we are in danger here. If this doesn't correct soon and go higher and push higher, this is a monthly chart. These can repaint. So if we see a major rally out of these zones, we on Bitcoin, I'll show you where there is a strong buyer zone right now where we are. So we could still rally out of that, and then this blue line would start to turn up a bit. But as of now, it's starting to cross, as we're also seeing on our signal line indicator, which is part of our crypto mastery suite of signals, the best that I've ever used. And we can see again back in 2022 when that happened, that was the beginning of the bear market. So do pay attention, and let's be aware of what's potentially happening here. We've got the RSI coming down here, breaking down below. I think we'll get a bit of a bounce here from here, and hopefully we can still push out of this. Kind of a bull flag forming on the RSI, but that doesn't really happen. That's not the term we would use. We are seeing bearish divergence though, with the RSI heading lower as prices up here were kind of heading sideways and still slowly heading up. So that bearish divergence on that, as well as money flow heading down on the monthly time frame. We could push down into January and then bounce. You know, I'm starting to wonder, did we see the top for 2025? But we do see sort of a rally. The max pain trade would be a huge rally in 2026 in the beginning. Then the bubble bursts, and then we could see a secondary peak, I think, with everything coming together. But 2026 is looking a bit uncertain at this point. So we've covered that, except for the stochastics RSI on a 2-month time frame. You know, last bear markets, these are the peaks of the bull, and we've stayed up in this range longer than we did last time. So we have to keep that in mind also on that. Let me just jump back to a daily chart and we can start there. So essentially we're down around this 98,655 range. I'll come back to this chart because I want to kind of show where we could possibly go. But in terms of what could happen here, we have these buy and sell blocks. We've visualized where the buyers and sellers are. Again, these are part of our crypto mastery suite. You can learn more at cryptomastery.org. And these up here, this predicated and showed where the top of that market is. Now this big sell block had gone away until we had that big Friday sell-off, and then it came back with a vengeance, plus a head and shoulders had played out. So the move from the head to the neckline, we did break that, and we are now hitting the head and shoulders measured move right in this range. So we could still see a bounce out of here for sure. We have a lot of buyers in this range. I think we might be buying here. I'll be watching carefully. Either way, and regardless, my stop loss on Bitcoin is 96,500. That's just below this block of buyers and the concentration of buyers which are here. If we lose this buy block, if this goes away by the end of the day, then I think we can push down to the 90K range, 87 to 90K. And either way, market structure is severely damaged, but we have bounced out of this region before, back in June of 25, most recently. So again, this is a measured move breakdown from this head and shoulders. And so maybe we bounce around in this range here. I don't want to try and catch a falling knife. I want my signals to start to turn green, and they were flagging green on the daily, but now they're heading back lower again on this weekly time frame. This is where we see the longer moves, and it has more momentum, kind of like a cruise ship versus a sailboat versus a speedboat and jet ski on those smaller time frames. What I mean by that is once our trend strength indicator turns green, it can push higher for multiple weeks. We are still heading lower on the weekly basis, so I'm in a precautionary mode. I'm being I'm cautious here and advising caution preserving capital as well. So I wouldn't be buying this yet. I wouldn't be touching Ethereum. Solana is looking interesting. We'll get to that in a minute. And I want to come back and just touch a couple other scenarios. Here's a little bit cleaner chart on Bitcoin showing this buy zone. And so I want to see where things settle out today. Do we get a bit of a bounce and some bottoming tails, or does this get taken out? So currently I'm out of Bitcoin. Had been buying in this range and had a sell order up here in this range. And so looking for another opportunity to get in, but we're still in a downtrending channel. On Bitcoin, I'll jump to total market cap here, and then I want to look at, actually, let me just finish off what I was going to show you on Bitcoin. The other bearish scenario, though, as if we see this kind of a move on these blue lines, this was taken from, oops, hang on a second, the chart pattern that we just saw from the peak. So we're kind of seeing this kind of a possible move. If we blow through that 97, 96K level, then we're probably going to see another cascade of capitulations, liquidations, and maybe even overthrow this downtrending channel, but getting a bit of a counter trend bounce, some short covering, reaccumulate in this 89K region. So I would still be selling any pumps, but we're starting to look a lot like we're heading into a bear market. So we'll have to see. It's too early to tell, but it's starting to look that way. And of course, that would be the max pain trade. Everyone's kind of hoping for an up November. And thinking of the musical chairs, I talked to a lot of traders, and they have very complacent attitude. Is if I can just insert your excuse here, if I can just get back to where I was 6 months ago, and then I'll just, or if I can only double or sell another, and all of that is dangerous, because the musical chairs, the music is speeding up, and it's going to stop soon. And so we're probably seeing some front running and running for the exits. Certainly that's what's happening at the bigger level. Who is selling Bitcoin right now? And it is the early holders. If you haven't seen the Pompliano interviews with Jordi Visser and his analogy of the IPO moment, I'm going to jump back to another chart here just to kind of illustrate that, because we've been seeing multiple kind of bull flags. And excuse me, let me get to the right one. I've got a number of charts here, and it might be, maybe this is a cleaner one. There we go. So instead of this parabolic pump that everyone was hoping for, we're seeing various stages of when early investors have been selling. Willy Woo sold his Bitcoin, not because he doesn't believe in Bitcoin, but because of the asymmetric gains are no longer there. They've already 100x'd, 1000x'd. So we're seeing a rotation from the early investors, the analogy being in an IPO, the insiders, the pre-IPO investors, when it goes public, they start taking profits, and a new wave of investors and institutions slowly sort of buying that up until the sellers are exhausted, and then we see a new wave higher. So that's what I'm seeing here, right? So from back in December of 2024, we pushed up and then saw a wave of selling, insiders selling, and those early holders holding hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars in Bitcoin. So, and then we saw ETFs starting to buy that up. So we're seeing this kind of, instead of pump and dump, we're seeing pump and consolidate, and that is likely this IPO kind of behavior. And would make sense if just today there's an article in Cointelegraph that an early Bitcoiner just moved a lot of Bitcoin onto Kraken. It was like 245 million, and that was about half of what he had. Certainly these guys that rode this all the way down last cycle. Also, what I hear a lot of, I'm not going to round trip this time. So there's a lot of fear out there. We're in extreme fear, and so likely, if you had 200-300 million that you could take ships off the table, you'd probably do that also. So it doesn't, I think that's what we're seeing. Institutions have been buying, but they also can't ride it all the way down. So probably seeing some de-risking from BlackRock and the ETFs, perfectly normal. So we could see one of two things. We could see this bounce out of the support zone. Again, the green box. This is one of our signals called the order block indicator, visualizing where the buy limit orders are, and typically we see it hit that midpoint and then bounce. So I could see it certainly push out of here. This is option one, but going back to what I also looked at before in that other scenario, where if we fail and we suddenly slice through that, we could see this kind of a move and continue heading down to around the 74K region. Why is that? Typically, Bitcoin's never gone below the price where a new incoming president was inaugurated at. And if you remember back in November 5th, that was around 74K, and we caught that rally. A lot of things going on right now with the government maybe turning back on and maybe not. So we'll have to see how that plays out. In the near term, looking at total market cap, we can see what's interesting here that no one else is talking about is these big round numbers on the total market cap. So if you'll remember, as I've been talking about, if we go to a weekly, the last cycle high had nothing to do with the price of Bitcoin. It is when the total market cap hit $3 trillion, just to the dollar almost, right there, triggered programmatic selling, and that was the top of the 2021 market. And so what we are seeing now, same thing, we pushed up to 4 trillion, a little bit of a throw over, but it would be out of the realm of possibility that this is the top of this cycle, and these big round numbers on total market cap are ones to watch. So if we were to get to 4.85 trillion based on the bull flag measured move I originally drawn, that's where I was saying we need to get out. But it may be that the 4 trillion was the top for this year. We just don't know. We're starting to lose the 50-week EMA, which is not ideal on the total market cap. It's kind of holding on Bitcoin. Just to run down through this, total 2 and total 3 also seeing big sell blocks. That includes Ethereum and the other altcoins. And so we can see just a lot of sell pressure. This would signify a top is in, and a lot of resistance in this area. So unfortunately, we have to kind of accept that may be where we're at right now. The VIX also pushing up, a lot of volatility in the stock markets there. Probably will. This to me looks like the VIX is about to explode, signaling more volatility over in that stock market. USDT dominance, we'll talk about that as well. But I want to touch on Solana. Now, Solana is looking somewhat more interesting. However, I wouldn't be buying at these levels. I think that there was a bit of a buy block there that was just been taken out, at least on the shorter time frames, where I would be buying Solana. And like in real estate, with crypto and stocks, you make your money where you're buying below market. This is both a graphic and a buy block. So all through the last year, I was able to nearly double my Solana in my IRA, just buying in this 125 to 130 range, because we can see there's long-term accumulation there, bouncing out of there, buy low, sell high, buy low, sell high. I'm just going to keep accumulating Solana in this range. We saw it bounce out of here before, so we have another buy zone, as we can see here. Buy orders. So on the shorter term time frames on Solana, there are buyers at 150. I'm looking at my other monitor over this way, and so we could see a little bit of a short-term bounce on this, but I think probably we're headed toward this range down here, this 125 to 130. I will be putting buy limit orders there for if we get that capitulation sell-off. I think that would probably hold, and then if we lose that, I'll have more capital set aside to buy Solana at $100 all day long, you guys. And so there will be some opportunities here. And although on the monthly time frame, a little bit concerning, and so we have to be aware that if we start to lose these other key ranges, coming all the way back down to the $12-13, if we get a bear, go back in the bear, and we lose this range at $100, then certainly on the table, and there is a head and shoulders forming on Solana. That's the scary part. The measured move from, if this is the head and we consider this the neckline on a macro scale, then the measured move there from that really puts this is almost that isn't really possible to go back down to $1 on Sol. So I will take that with a grain of salt. But at any rate, I think things are going to head lower. Probably get another liquidation event and really flush out the system. Some other coins we've been watching: Filecoin pulling back to support, ICP pulling back to a support range, so I'm holding small positions in that. Ondo in a buy zone, but not looking to buy or trying to catch a falling knife just yet, just watching that. Zcash had its run, now selling off. I'd consider Zcash back around 300. Part of that was a short squeeze. So we don't, again, want to be trying to catch a falling knife. Aerodrome probably pulls back into the 70-cent range where these buyers are, and other ones on the radar, Polkadot, but these are heading lower. ETH just not looking very good. I think ETH probably can come back to 2,800, even down lower. So won't go into anything else. A big sea of red there. Let's jump and take a look at something else on the weekly time frame. Our original base case was we would see this kind of a fourth and final angle push up to 200K by the end of the year, potentially next year. That is now off the table. What we're waiting for is this trend line support from here, there, and there, breaking below that on a weekly basis. If we can recover this level on Bitcoin on the weekly, we could still be in business. We could still put in a fourth and final angle, but really not looking very good here. And the potential to come down to this lower, longer-term trend line around 90K, as I mentioned, is on the table. So not what anyone wants to hear, but unfortunately, that's where we're at. USDT dominance, we've covered this in the past. This is the same line as last cycle. It is inversely related. So as money flows into stable coins, it flows out of Bitcoin and total market cap. This yellow line is kind of the median. So we saw this around here. What happens with USDT dominance is as it comes down to touch this lower line all the way back since 2018, that's usually when we're seeing market peaks in Bitcoin and crypto. But as it bounces and reverts to the mean, then we see money flow out of Bitcoin and total market cap. I've marked these ranges as bull peak highs, crypto correction, crypto crash, and bear market. We are in crypto correction zone. And again, originally I was drawing to see if this would match up here. It's looking more like this. Ideally, we see this and extend it out so we can have another chance at a bull market peak. That would sort of put us around April of 26. Maybe that's the case. Maybe that we crash Q1 and part of Q2 heading into May when Jerome Powell's term is up. And likely they're going to put a new friendly in there who will probably continue to cut rates and get that money printer going again and stimulus. So that's also on the table, you guys. So I'm watching that closely. But at this point, the money is flowing into stables. We are in crypto correction zone. If it pushes up here, we are teetering with crypto crash zone. Probably would see a counter trend bounce though to pull back and then some relief rally to sell into, but things are not looking terribly good at the moment here. I will continue to update everybody with that. So with that in mind, if you like this commentary and you want to learn more about us, you can go to moonstream.io, and we've been doing this since 2018. And I've been doing this since 2021, but 25-year trader, founder of the Options University originally. You can check this out at moonstream.io. There's a video here that'll kind of walk you through other services. But if you like these classes, we do a weekly class on Wednesday, my M3 Active Trader course. That is, all of this are in the links down below, moonstream.io/M3. And we just lowered the monthly rate for its lowest rate ever, just to make sure everybody can get this information. That includes daily chat and updates in a Signal chat. Very smart group of traders. It's not like Discord. There's not going to be 1,000 messages a day. It's just enough to get you through the day, and also coin picks in there. A live weekly class on Wednesdays. You can read some reviews here. Very happy, beginner friendly, but really designed for intermediates and above. And membership area with replays of those Wednesday classes. There's some other tools in here, like a dollar cost averaging trading template, portfolio tracker, and some high probability cheat sheets like on candlesticks. The handful of patterns that you should watch for, and also high probability trade setups, things like that. But the bulk of it is in these weekly updates and daily updates, again, over in Active Trader, which you can see here. This is from today. I'm updating people, sending videos out, answering questions, and so that's the Active Trader course. More for people who want to actively trade, swing trade, not day trading. If you're more of a long-term trader, you can learn more about our Retire Rich class, which we taught today. That's my business partner, Mike, and I. He's an old school Bitcoiner from 2014. We cover more of the news and some of the macro longer term trading, looking for the future Netflix and Amazons. And you can learn more about that over here at moonstream.io/retire rich. And so I believe that might be hyphenated. No, it's not hyphenated. So just like this, moonstream.io/retire rich. That'll redirect you somewhere else. And then you can learn more about this. You can see some of our past picks. Again, these are longer term plays, and we update every Thursday. And there's some links there for signing up for that. And the indicators, guys, look, we have a program that includes all of this, by the way, so stay with me. Want to give you the tools that really give you the advantage in alpha to succeed. These indicators are the best I've ever used. We've developed them in-house with a 25-year trader, hedge fund trader, quant engineer, and programmer, and he programs his indicators to trade himself on the S&P and Forex, but also for crypto. So these really are powerful. Our early reversal indicator is amazing, gives us an edge. Also, our buy order blocks here, and when we see these other ones align, that's when we have like 90% chance of retracements. People always ask when to sell. We have a modified Bollinger Band for crypto. It works excellent for crypto, right? You can see that when it touches the red line, it reverts. The off-the-shelf free Bollinger Band does not work for crypto. It's not tuned correctly. You can read some testimonials there, but if you'd like all of that all together, you can go over to moonstreamcoaching.com/start. I have a mentoring program. It's a 6-month program. It includes all of that other stuff. You get one-on-ones with me twice a month, and I also create a model portfolio that I update from time to time, exactly letting people know what to do. So you can go watch this video here. This is me just saying, hey, I'm a real person. And while I'm pulling this other model portfolio up for you to see, you can go watch that video and then leave your information. We can get on a Zoom call, a no pressure call, just to see how I can help you. Most of my clients there have between 50,000 and upwards of 8 figures in crypto, but some people have less and just want to really learn how this all works. And with the model portfolio, I'm going to move this over. This is what I push out and update. You guys get emails. We have been selling and de-risking for the last few days, and I give you stop loss levels, I give you buy zones and take profit zones. And then I hit that button and it goes out to all of you, as well as you have your own version that's customized for you. So if you really want help in maximizing this bull run, if we're still even in a bull run, but timely information, also our bear market strategies of how we're going to make money on the way down, using leverage shorting, low leverage, but also with option strategies that our technology can shows us. And if you're not familiar with the options, you can sell one option to generate money to buy the other option in the direction you think the coins are going to go. And that's what we do here. So anyway, if you like this, please hit the like button. It tells the algorithm to put it in front of more people. Really here to help people invest better and make more money and preserve capital, like one client who you can read about on my reviews page. He listened to me back in 2021, 2022, got out of the market, saved 100,000. So if you want to read these, moonstreamcoaching.com/reviews. There's a recent one here from our mastermind in Mexico with one of my private clients here, and other clients that you can read reviews from down below. Anyway, thanks everybody. Cheers. Have a good week. Keep you updated, and certainly check out our various services and reach out if you'd like to do a just one-on-one consult here. I'm booked up this week, but have time over the weekend on Monday, and you can learn about that at moonstreamcoaching.com/start. Cheers, everyone. Bye.